Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to beautiful Gulfstream Park, and welcome to Gulfstream today. I'm Ron Nicoletti. Forgot my name, along with Acacia Courtney. It is a beautiful day here in South Florida. We got a fast main track. We got a firm turf course, and they hit the Rainbow Six yesterday, something we'll be telling you about in a couple of moments. But first, we want to let you know, 1 week from today is the Kentucky Oaks.
Yes, it is, and we have the biggest watch party right here at Gulfstream Park. So we did establish that today was Friday. So 1 week from today, Friday is the Kentucky Oaks. Of course, Saturday, May 6th, the Kentucky Derby. You can see with your program purchase, you get a Kentucky Derby t-shirt. There's a hat contest, the buffet, mint juleps, all of that good stuff. And don't forget, post time for the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks will be 12:55 p.m.
Didn't we do the hat contest last year?
Yes, we did. That was actually my first day at Gulfstream Park was Kentucky Derby Day.
There were some great hats, if I remember correctly. So, and also want to let you know that there is advanced wagering on Friday for both. Of course, you come here to bet the Oaks. You can bet the, the Kentucky Derby Day, the whole card the next day, and you got the Derby Double and the Derby Pick 3 that you can bet the day before. And the Derby Double is the Kentucky Oaks on Friday with the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. So if you want to bet that, of course you got to be here on Friday.
Yes, definitely don't want to miss out on that. And as on that note, we are getting excited to be able to follow some of the horses that we saw running here locally at Gulfstream Park that will be in the Oaks and the Derby as well. One of them is Salty, who did actually work this morning. She won the Gulfstream Park Oaks here back in prep for that. And we're going to go back and show that race, Ron. You can see she's the number 6 that day. She was bet down to the even money favorite, and I thought this was a very impressive race from her because she's relatively inexperienced, I guess you could say. Joelle Rosario made an early move. You can see her drifting a little bit, but she did pull away to win by open lengths, and she's heading to the Oaks now.
Yeah, I mean, she won by more than 4 lengths, and she was very, very impressive that afternoon. And as you mentioned, lightly raced and from the Mark Cassidy barn. So one of the horses we were fortunate enough to see at the Gulfstream Park Championship meet will be running in the Oaks. And of course, we got lots of horses running in the Kentucky Derby that we watched there, including Always Dreamin', who won the Florida Derby, which will be showing these races throughout the next few days to get you reacclimated with the horses.
Build up the excitement.
Yeah, so lots going on all next week, of course, with the Kentucky Derby coming up. But we got a solid card this afternoon, and we have Beat the Expert Day today, too, which is me. I try and forget this every day when it's me. But Beat the Expert, you don't have much time. You got about an hour to get your selections in. 8-race card this afternoon, and if you can get more winners than me, you got a chance to win one of those cool polo shirts. It says Beat the Expert right on the side. And in case you came up with a great idea the other day, send us your pictures wearing the T-shirt once you the polo shirt once you get them, and let us see how you look. See if you can make a goofy face like I did there.
Yeah, you send us some pictures showing off your guns. You definitely have those bragging rights if you picked more winners than we did. So you can tweet at us. Don't forget to use hashtag #BeatTheExpert. Let us know that you're playing. And again, our first post today is 1:15 p.m. So you do have a few extra minutes to get those selections in.
Well, now we're ready to look at the Friday card, and we'll go through the wagering menu. We're going to start it off with the first of 2 pick 5s this afternoon in race number 1. And as we mentioned, they hit the Rainbow Six again yesterday.
Yes, they did. So we'll start anew. That does start in race number 3 today. And we do have a super high 5 carryover, though. And that starts in race 4. That's with any race of 7 or more runners. $2,600 plus in that, and then we capped things off with the late pick 5.
And that the Rainbow Six yesterday for that 20-cent wager was $180,000. Someone came up to me and said that someone hit it for a 40-cent ticket. I haven't been able to find that out yet, but we'll do some research. If that did indeed happen, that's great.
Yes, and I'm not sure about that, but I know it was bought in Nassau County, New York. I did read that, so congratulations for sure if you had that ticket. I'm sure not a bad way to spend a Thursday getting $180,000.
Nope, and knowing it's Thursday, too, which she was a little shaky on. First race today, 5 furlongs on the turf, 3 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or a race since October 28, or 3-year-olds. Triple conditions in here, scratch, the main track only horse, number 7. And as we mentioned, Acacia will show you her first of 2 pick 5 tickets right now.
Yes, I will give you a look at my ticket. I did have a hard time finding a single today, but I'll use 3 horses to start things off. Currently in the wagering, early money going to the number 1, Bluegrass Luck, but using leading 3 horses, spreading in the second race with 4, then 2, 2, and 2. Kept it affordable, $48 today.
Well, it looks like we're back on track now. You didn't use the horse that I had on top in the first leg of the pick 5, and that is the 2 horse in here, very colorful, who's wheeling back after rallying to finish second against Similar. That was back on March 23rd, and I just thought this horse, I want to go back and show you the trouble this horse at the start. So we're going to pick up the pan this day, number 2 horse, very colorful, and you're going to see it right there. It is lit up, and you're just going to see as they roll it, you know, just gets sandwiched between horses here and gets bounced around. You can see that. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch it then and go to the top of the stretch, and we're going to stop it here and just, you know, you can see the horse is wide and running down. Let's let it roll a little again. You're going to, you know, it's hard to see. There she is. Now stop it. I wanted to point out the number 2, and there it is right there, just coming up, and we'll get the old arrow right there and closes. And we'll see how this one runs now after that bad break. I just thought it was a good performance to close after getting sandwiched at the start. And, you know, wasn't that bad. And I think this one, more importantly, sits the trip behind the speed today. And you see the horse just continuing to close to finish second.
It definitely was a strong performance from this horse, given that trouble at the start. My biggest problem with this one is that it's been a long time between drinks. It's been a while since he's seen the winner's circle. He's just 2 for 25 on form, 0 for 5 so far in 2017, and 0 for 8 in all of his starts in 2016. So it's been a while. And he did close nicely last time out. He's got some versatile running style. I actually think that he's one that likes to be a little bit closer to the pace. I think he was further back last time because of that trouble at the start, and that was good to highlight how he did get bounced around like that. So I do respect him. I used him a little bit further down, but I did land on the number 5, East Rock. Dropping in class, probably will be part of the pace, but I just think that this one has the class to back it up for Steve Klosaris.
Yeah, and we got a stat, I believe, on this horse,
yes.
And Steve Klosaris. And I had it on the ticket, too, and I kept going back. I just kept seeing speed, and the reason I thought maybe Very Colorful will sit just off that speed and get the trip.
That certainly could be, but we'll show a stat on trainer Steve Klosaris in the past 5 years. After 180-plus day layoff on the turf, it's 4 for 15 winning. Now, they either win or they are off the board. So it's feast or famine, really. You see it's the same percentage for in the money, but I did want to highlight that it is strong off of that layoff and a positive ROI of 233. So that is what I do like about this. And again, the drop in class off that layoff.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to have that horse somewhere on your ticket there. And then I went with the 3 and second horse in my way. Should be primed and ready to offer more return from a freshening. Went up, set the pace, was 4th that day. It's going to be part of the pace this afternoon. And as you mentioned, the current 2-to-1 favorite horse I didn't use on my ticket is the number 1, Bluegrass Luck.
And it's interesting, this one's taking a lot of the early money because he's trying the turf for the first time as a 5-year-old gelding after 19 starts already, probably because the barn with Safi Joseph Jr. doing so well lately and Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. But the dam was actually second in a maiden special weight on the turf, but she was 0 for 5 on the grass.
You're absolutely right. I think a little bit of money is for the connections right there. Let's go to race 2 this afternoon. 6 furlongs. Claim is 3-year-olds, $35,000 down to $25,000. And I did go with the number 2, Legacy Azteca. But let's start it off with your horse, the number 5, and that's Sobrino.
And speaking of those connections, Legacy Azteca, Safi, and Tyler, just as we were talking about. But I did land on Sobrino. And this one, making the first start for trainer Angel Rodriguez after an extended layoff. It's been about 8 months, and he's had a bit of an interesting career so far. Did win and break his maiden at first asking, then actually tried stakes competition at Ellis Park after that, finishing actually a respectable 4th behind Looking at Lee. Bet down as the heavy favorite in allowance the next time in the slop and did run an okay second. Very impressive work tab for the return. Edgar Zayas in the saddle. And just looking up some stats first after the trainer switch after 180-plus day layoff on the dirt. Not the biggest sample size, but 2 for 4 for the barn.
Yeah, 2 for 4. And I mean, in this barn, we mention it all the time. They use these spot horses where they want them to win. I wanted to watch one for all the reasons that you mentioned coming in from those races at Indiana Ground and Ellis Park. Now, I wanted to go back. The reason I wanted to wait to show you about number 2, Legacy Azteca, is stepping up to face winners. I just thought this performance by the trainer Safi Joseph Jr. and Tyler Gaffleone was so impressive that I wanted to go back and show just a stretch run in there. And we'll let it roll here, and you'll see as the horse is here. Now, I want to stop it just here. Right there, you can see it. You will see right now that he just starts looking back for some competition in there and let it roll. It just was so impressive to me. Tyler saying, where is everybody. So I just think off that performance, I put him on top of my ticket. And what I wanted to show is just so easily how this horse won. And it was for a $35,000 tag. It wasn't a 12-5 stepping right up there, putting him in a real good leg. And you could see in hand as it crosses the wire.
It was very impressive. The only thing I can say about that is it was about time. He had been knocking on the door for so many starts prior to that. It took him 13 starts to get to the winner's circle. And when he did it, he did it very impressively. And he had burned quite a bit of money in his career already. What did maybe turn me off a little bit was, first of all, that it took him so long to get to the winner's circle, knocking on the door prior to that. And also with maiden winners last time out in dirt sprint, the barn is 0 for 10 in the past 5 years. But we've talked about the success that this barn has been doing lately. And I wasn't about to leave this horse off. Just couldn't put him right on top yet.
Well, we'll see how that, I don't think that race took much out of that horse
No.
that day. Now, the horse I want to mention quickly and had some interest in is the inside horse, and that is Vencedor. Turning back to 6 furlongs, breaking from the rail this afternoon after tracking the pace and weakening, was back-to-back starter optional claimers going 7/8 of a mile. I think this horse sort of classes up nicely in the spot. I don't know what it is. I think he's 4th choice on the morning line. I just thought off those performances, you know, with the turning back to 3/4 of a mile, not to win it, be on the ticket.
This is a pretty small field, but it's a potent field as well. And I did want to mention a long shot play today. The number 4, Sal's Jet. He was a surprise winner to break his maiden in a very tough for level maiden $50,000 field. Now, we did see the 2nd place finisher come back to win after that. He was maybe outclassed in his last 2, but with the drop in class, big jockey change to Emisel Jaramillo today, he might be able to be one again at a price, maybe do some damage in here.
Well, that's how we see the early daily double. We'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll show you my Rainbow 6 ticket. They hit it yesterday for $180,000.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet. We are racing.
Race 3 this afternoon, 6 furlongs claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or a race since November 27th, $12,500. We do have a scratch in here of the number 4 horse, Dazzling Dixie, and I started off with the number 3, Nurse John, on my Rainbow 6 ticket. Let's take a quick look at it, and I'll use 3 deep here, 2, 2, 4 in race number 6, and then 2 and 2 for $38.40. And as I mentioned, hit it, yesterday for $180,000. We'll do some research. Love when someone hits it with just a small amount, so it means that money might churn back in here. So $180,000.
Absolutely, and once again, congratulations if you did have that winning ticket. But I like the tactic today. We're starting over. It's starting to build again. Certainly over the next week or so, we should have a lot of play on that Rainbow 6.
Well, how'd you start your 3rd race?
Well, I did not start with Nurse John. I ended up using her. Nurse John is a mare in 3rd, but I did land on the number 6, Sherry Angel, on top, who you didn't use, which I was actually surprised because she comes out of the key race. She's a very game 8-year-old mare. She's a 9-time winner out of 49 starts, and she finished 5th last time out in her 12-5 condition claiming event. The top 2 finishers did come back to win. Dancing Wind came back with a 76 Buyer speed figure, very impressive. Silver Sachet, also impressive to get a 67 in her next race, and I just thought it was a pretty strong performance. She's coming out of tougher races. Nice work tab as well.
Yeah, she's 6-1 on the morning line, so a nice price in there. I'm glad you don't beat the expert. They don't allow you to pay because we're not in the agreement to anything so far today. So number 3, Nurse John, turning back to 3/4 of a mile, responded to the surface switch last time out with a 2nd place finish against Simler, was going 7/8 of a mile. I just thought after performance, this was the logical one, and they're going to go back and revisit the number 6, of course, Sherry Angel. Then in 2nd, you had the number 7 horse, Starship Hostility, 5 for 8 in the money on the fast track.
Yes, now he's moving back to the dirt. This will actually be the first time on the dirt for this barn since she moved to the barn of Alan Iwinski. Does have Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle, and she's also cutting back in distance. She's been going 2 turns on the turf, so lots of questions for her here, but sprinting on the dirt is actually the scene where she had her last win, excuse me.
And the number 2 horse in here, I put in second. You had in fourth. At least you were thinking a little bit the way I was. Taylor Purcelli tried the 12-5 condition claimers, returned from the layup to finish fourth, was beaten a length against a hard-knocking group, I think, of 6,250 open claimers. Louis Duco, Marcos Meneses, the top of a daughter of Tail of Akati. I like the group that this horse faced last time.
Yes, even though she is technically taking a step up in class, I do think that she comes out of a strong for level race and some very hard-knocking types in there.
Let's go to race 4 this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claimers 3 and up, $12,500. 1 jockey change to let you know about. It comes on the number 5 horse, and you make the rider Martin Ramirez, and this is where we have our final pick 5 of the day.
And we'll give you a look at that ticket. That's the word I was looking for. We'll give you a look at my ticket. And I spread in here right off the bat, wanted some coverage in this first race. I used Deneb on top, but I don't really have that much confidence in him. So using 4, 2 in the 5th. I'll also have some coverage in the 6th, just like you did. And then 2 and 2 in the last 2 legs, just $48 for me.
$48, very affordable, and you went deep here in race number 4. But I think we're both in agreement for the first time maybe this afternoon on our top pick, and that's the 3, Deneb, who's dropping to this 12-5 level after breaking slowly, raced wide that day when finishing 9th, was beaten 4.5 lengths, but it was 20 maidens last time out. And it's those connections again to Angel Rodriguez, Edgar Zayas handling the drop down in competition.
Well, I ended up putting him on top, and that was kind of by default because I was looking at the rest of the field, and I couldn't really get excited about anybody else. But I hope that he wins today because you're the expert, and it's Beat the Expert Day, and that'd be a good win to have. But I just, as I said, I really don't have that much confidence in him. I like the turn back in distance to the 5 furlongs. Definitely think he fits better at that distance versus the 2 turns in the 7.5. But second off the claim on the turf for the barn of Angel Rodriguez is just 1 for 12 winning and just 3 for 12 in the money, of course, the negative ROI. That race last time was not pretty first off the claim, so he really has to take a step forward, but he just might meet the right kind of field.
Well, we got Nurse John, who's a filly, and now we got Miss Patty, who's a colt or a gelding. So
yes.
Number 7, Miss Patty, beating a length at this level in distance 2 starts back, is dropping back to this level. I got carried wide when finishing 4th. There was a 20 maiden race at this 5 furlong distance. And let's go back and just show you the stretch run of number 7, Miss Patty. And this one was just kept getting pushed out wider and wider. Is the number 7 this afternoon. Let's let it roll. And you just see makes the move to come out. And now you're going to see the turn for home. And you could see just going here. She's out wide. Now watch. We'll stop it right there. And you're going to see this horse, the 3 horse, is going to come and just start heading towards the popcorn stand. Let it roll, and you're going to see it heading towards the popcorn stand. It just carries. It's hard to see because it's going to be out of the picture, but see drifting out, and the 7 just has nowhere to go. Now, finally, the 3 straightens out. The 7's got to duck a little bit to the inside and closes pretty stoutly to get up there. So the horse was carried very wide in that race, and I thought ran very well to be, to hit and almost hit the board in there. So it was pretty good performance.
On paper, this is probably the horse to beat, but I couldn't put him on top because he is 0 for 19 on paper so far, but he's been very consistent. He's had some good performances. His last 3 races, I think, were actually very strong. Second by Justin Eck, a 3rd, and last time out, he was beaten by Jack of Diamonds, who is the little brother of Peony Price, our track record holder for 5 furlongs on the turf, trying the turf for the first time. So there was no beating that horse that day. Did think it was a solid performance from him. Now, a little bit of interesting trivia in this race. The number 1, Woo, Here We Go, is actually the half-brother to the number 6, Dominic. So they're both out of the same mare in here. Dominic, a 7-time maiden already, all on the turf, and the number 1, Woo, Here We Go, trying the turf for the first time.
Trying the turf for the first time. And, we have our 6, Dominic, and the 1 flip-flop. And I just had to see one from the 1 breaking from the rail, going 5 furlongs on the turf as a first-time starter. But you know, at least we're in agreement with the top two for the first time today, and that is in race number 4. And as we mentioned, that kicks off the final pick 5 of the day. Now we're going to go to race number 5 this afternoon. It's 1 mile on the turf. Maiden claim is 3 and up, $20,000, and you went with the number 5 in here, and it's how I might end up today with no dinero after some of these selections I have up there.
I hope you don't end up that way. That would be no fun. But I did end up on no dinero. Pretty key scratch of Osvaldo to the rail, who probably promised to take quite a bit of money. I liked no dinero all along, though. I like the drop-in class for this one. He's kind of been steadily going down the maiden scale. Started out in special weight on the dirt, went to maiden 50 on the turf, and then maiden 35 on the turf last time. So now at the maiden 20 level, and I thought that he showed a lot of improved speed once he moved to the turf, which really did, last time out, he really was sent, and he did fade. So maybe that class drop, rider switch to Jorge Ruiz, he might be able to maintain that speed a bit better today.
Well, I did have Osvaldo on top, and I had some interest. Was going to go back and show his replay, but he's going to run another day, and I did have to bump up to number 7, Family Justice, who's dropping to this $20,000 level, turning back to the 1 mile distance. He made a middle move. He finished 6th against 25 maidens. That was going 9 furlongs. Really liked Osvaldo in here. Family Justice you have in second. I think is going to need some help with the pace to get the job done.
I think he is too. And if you remember that race, the winner, King Hood, was trying the turf for the first time and wired the field going that 9 furlongs. So I think that he should be primed. He should be able to maybe get a little bit more pace in front of him in here. No dinero, I think, will be on the engine. Maybe Tommy's Top Cat as well. Hope is Rising isn't slow either. Now, he's an 0 for 24 maiden, so certainly couldn't put him on top. But I do think he has the ability to hit the board in here.
No, Tommy's Top Cat is going to the lead.
Yeah.
At least if you go after that last performance. He had that early 5.5 lead before giving away late. He finished, you know, he backed up to finish 8. I think he's part of the pace. It's Alan Iwinski. Apprentice Nicky Figueroa is going to ration his speed this afternoon. Does he go out and go all the way? I don't think so, but I threw him on a ticket because I'm always sucker for speed on the turf course. So we'll see how he runs in there.
I like it, and hopefully you don't end up with no dinero today.
Let's go to race number 6, 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Claimers, these are 4 and up. They're $16,000. We do have 2 scratches in this race, the 3 Amberjack and the number 9, the main track only. 1 tough customer. It's just tough customer. I added the 1 in there. I went with the number 8, and he had Dynamic Decision, and you went to the inside with the number 1, and that is Golden Point.
Well, I'll give Golden Point one more try, but we should probably start with Dynamic Decision because I do think that he'll take a lot of money. He finished just ahead of Golden Point last time, and I think if you like one, you have to respect the other. But I'll show a trainer stat on Keith Bourgeois that did actually make me be a little bit more hesitant with Dynamic Decision. This is in the past 5 years. First off, the claim on the turf with horses in the money last time out. Just 3 for 35. It's only 9% win, 31% in the money, negative ROI of just 99 cents. So not pretty. Though this horse has been very consistent in his last couple starts, that's why I couldn't leave him off completely, but I was just moving with a little bit of caution.
Well, mine is just the trip. I think he sits the trip. He goes to the barn after that claim, steps up to the 16 level. He do from start to finish. He got me to know, okay, you say he was up there dueling. This horse, if you go back, he has the ability to set or stalk the face in here, and I think there's going to be some really solid fractions in here. So I just thought more than anything he'd sit the trip in this particular race. I'm glad you had him on it. I'm not glad you showed me that stat, but we'll have to do with it. So you went. Now we'll go to Golden Point, who you did put on top of your ticket.
I did. A claim back by Marat Sankal. He was in the barn of Jane Sabelli for just 1 start, and I thought that he sat a nice trip last time out, or he tried to anyway. He was waiting for room, and then a little bit too late, he ended up trying to go. And you could see he was beaten just by 3/4 of a length behind Dynamic Decision. It was very close between them in there. He was second to Vetalago 2 starts back, who wired the field. He almost got there. I think he's had a little bit of some tough beats in those last 2. So again, we'll give him one more try today.
Well, number 5, Rock Eagle, moved to the Sandino Hernandez Jr. barn after the claim and rallied to finish in the dead heat for 3rd at this level in distance. It's very simple. The faster they go up front, the better it will be for this late striding son of Indian Charlie.
Yes, it will. And if you look at that race last time out, it really was just kind of a cavalry charge down to the wire. Hampstead Heath closing very, very wide on the outside. And Rock Eagle got an 83 Beyer speed figure for that performance. He's been popular at the claim box in his last couple. He does have Tyler Gaffleone up today.
And one other horse I used on the ticket there was the 2 Mr. Magic, who you had in 4th. He's stretching out to 1 mile and a 16th. He lacked room at the quarter pole. He finished 6 against 16 starter allowances. That was going a mile, and Jorge Ruiz will be in the saddle this afternoon. I think it's a wide open affair. And once again, she has a horse I don't have anywhere on my ticket. Now, race number 7 this afternoon, 7 furlongs, an allowance, optional claimer 3 and up with the optional claiming price of $16,000. And I have the number 7 of Astmady right on top of my ticket. This one is dropping to the 16 level, start the action, finish second. It was a $25,000 optional claimer at the distance. It's Ralph Nix, Tyler Gaffalione, third start off the bench.
And just to kind of back that up, maybe once again, I'll talk everybody into your selection, but we'll show a stat on trainer Ralph Nix. Third off the layoff on the dirt at the optional claiming level. 5 for 17, 29% win, 65% of the time in the money, and an ROI of more than $3, $3.36. And I thought that this one ran a good race last time out. I like that now third off of the bench. He's got some speed to him as well. And so I certainly respect this horse was not about to leave him off.
I'm glad I seen a good stat finally, and then that's my best bet of the afternoon. Number 4, Keep Me Grounded, who I have in second, you have on top, is stepping up the competition. He responded in the first start after the claim by Safi Joseph Jr.
And I almost showed this stat too, but I feel like we always show stats on Safi Joseph Jr. and didn't want to bombard with all the stats. But second off the claim with winners last time out, Safi Joseph Jr. is 4 for 6 and 5 for 6 in the money, with the 6th horse finishing 4th. And that ROI is also more than $3. So there are some excellent stats for that barn as well. And this horse won by 4 lengths last time out. And you say, well, he was claiming off of Jason Service. It's hard to improve off of that barn for sure. And I think that it's a matter of having this horse spotted in the right place. I like that after that win, he goes to this level where I think that he fits in this field, and definitely think that he might be one to sit a good trip in here as well.
See, I thought the other way. I thought he was really stepping up this afternoon compared to Vastmady. That was my problem. Otherwise, I would have put him right on top of the ticket for all the reasons you mentioned, because of Safi Joseph Jr. Just 12-5 condition claimer. I wanted to see one at the allowance optional claiming level. So we'll see how that works out. But there we are. We got the top 2. We just haven't flipped back and forth. I went with the 2 Grand Nene in second, dropping to the 16 level. He sat 10 lengths off the pace last time out. He rallied to finish 5th behind a Vastmady. It's trainer Jose Garofalo, MSC El Jaramillo to ride. Tyler sticks with a Vastmady. Uh-oh.
Well, you do see Tyler Gaffalione and Ralph Nix team up quite a bit together, so I'm not surprised by that. But I like Grand Nene as well. I do think he's better when he's a little bit closer to the pace. He didn't really, he was a little bit too far back last time out, I thought.
And what'd you do with the inside horse in here? I mean,
Mal Guapo. I think that he's going to send from the rail. He's had 40 starts already so far, a 12-time winner, shipping in from Fairgrounds for Keith Bourgeois. And if you look back at the earlier part of his career, he does have buyer speed figures to suggest that he'll be competitive in here.
Yeah, and getting in light with apprentice Nicky Figueroa, who we call Nicky Figs, and we mean that positively, not any rank or anything. So race number 8 this afternoon, 5 furlongs on the turf. Fillies and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, $12,500. Full field of 9 runners for our final super high 5 of the day.
Absolutely, a good way to cap things off. And you're so goofy. I landed on the number 1 Star Wonder for Rob Falcone Jr. towards the inside. I think that he's got some speed to him, but if you look at that race 2 starts back where she won, she was drawn to the outside and posted 11 of 12. I think that her hand was forced from the outside. Last time out, she did have to steady early as well, too. And if you remember, that race, My Third Eye, Hanson's Girl, and Threat all were a blanket finish down towards the wire. Unfortunately, Star Wonder got knocked out of that a little bit earlier. Now she gets a drop in class.
Yeah, I think she spotted perfectly. Another one, third start off the layoff. I think she's a good spot for number 1 Star Wonder. But I did go with the number 4 Be Undead Song. He's turning back to 5 furlongs. Made a move for the lead, finished second against Similar. That was going 7.5. It's a daughter of Be Undead, and I think she sits the trip in a race stock with need the lead types. So I think she cuts back to this distance. She does not have to be on the lead. She was going 7.5 last time out, so I think she carves out a trip behind the speed this afternoon.
She certainly could do just that. I do prefer her at the 5 furlongs. She was took a long time breaking her maiden 10 starts, and I think that was a solid race against winners for the first time last time out. So like the cut back in here for her. To the outside, the number 8 Starship Reina. She broke her maiden wiring the field, but she comes out of a couple strong races. She's been trying to get that second career victory in her last couple of starts. starts. Slight class relief last time out.
Yeah, and trained by Steve Dwoskin, ridden today by Luca Panici, who's been running in real good form here for our spring and summer meet. And that's how we see the 8-race card this afternoon. We got the Rainbow Six starting anew in race number 3. As we mentioned a couple of times, hit yesterday for $180,000. So it's just a fantastic wager and a chance for some life-altering money.
Absolutely, and good luck on Beat the Expert today, Ron. We have about 30 minutes to get your picks in.
We have to take care of these horses that, give us so much joy.
Being accredited